the truth is that we're going to have to stay vigilant here at home until we stop the epidemic at its source. And for that, we're going to need to make sure that our doctors and our healthcare professionals here in the United States are properly trained and informed, and that they are coordinated if and when an Ebola case crops up here in the United States. But what's also critically important is making sure that all the talent, skill, compassion, professionalism, dedication, and experience of our folks here can be deployed to help those countries deal with this outbreak at the source.
All right, welcome to Give Me Five, ladies and gentlemen. That was the president yesterday. Very concerned that we won't be able to stop Ebola in Africa if we quarantine returning healthcare workers. It's bogus. It's nonsense. We're now going to quarantine our soldiers when they come back. Chuck Hagel announced that today. We now know that the doctor in New York who has Ebola lied about taking the subway. He lied. These aren't great heroes. They're doing great work, but if they're going to come back and endanger the public, then they should be locked up. And if they don't want to go, then they don't want to go. Next.
We don't want to discourage our healthcare workers from going to the front lines and dealing with this in an effective way. Our medical teams here are getting better and better prepared and trained for the possibility of an isolated Ebola case here in the United States. But in the meantime, we've got to make sure that we continue to provide the support of health workers who are going overseas to deal with the disease where it really has been raging.
I don't really care. Look, I feel sorry for the people in Africa, and if healthcare workers are such heroes and they're going over there and risking their own lives, that's great. God bless them. But if they can't then sacrifice 3 weeks to come back here and make sure that we don't get infected in the streets of our cities and towns, then that's too darn bad. Then don't go. What do you want from us? Next.
Of the 7 Americans treated for Ebola so far, all have survived. Right now, the only American still undergoing treatment is Dr. Craig Spencer, who contracted the disease abroad while working to protect others. And we should be saluting his service. And we are focused on getting him the best care possible as well. And our thoughts and prayers are with him.
He put people at risk. We find out today he lied to authorities about taking the subways in New York City. You know how they found him out? They had his Metro card. That's what you swipe to get on the subway. They traced his Metro card activity and then they confronted him. And then he fessed up. He's a hero? Baloney, he's a hero. Next.
Meanwhile, the West African nations of Senegal and Nigeria have now been declared Ebola-free. That's in part because of outstanding work led in many cases by Americans working in coordination with those countries to make sure that we did not see an outbreak there. So the point is that this disease can be contained. It will be defeated. Progress is possible, but we're going to have to stay vigilant, and we've got to make sure that we're working together. We have to keep leading the global response. America cannot look like it is shying away because other people are watching what we do.
It can be contained. It will be defeated. Progress is possible. Those are 3 different statements. I mean, wow, he's all over. By the way, you could catch it by sneezing now. Did you know that? The CDC added that little caveat today. Yeah. Here's one more from the president.
We've got to make sure that those workers who are willing and able and dedicated to go over there in a really tough job, that they're applauded, thanked, and supported. That should be our priority. And we can make sure that when they come back, they are being monitored in a prudent fashion. But we want to make sure that we understand that they are doing God's work over there. And they're doing that to keep us safe. And I want to make sure that every policy we put in place is supportive of their efforts.
No, every policy you put in place, Mr. President, should be to make sure we are safe and secure here, not to honor them. What's wrong with you? Your Newsmax Now update is next.
Do you sleep too hot while your partner sleeps too cool?